I don't know. I don't hear you, but I'm still setting up, apparently. Uh, okay, I did that. Um,
Good
this
morning,
is
Lynette.
hi.
Hi.
So yeah, right now I'm streaming on YouTube right now, but apparently I can only stream in one location, which is not good. Okay, so I guess I'm not going to do that. Um, yeah, stop stream. I can only stream in one place. All right. So then I'm just thank you for being patient with me. I'm setting up. I just trying something different. All right. What if I did it over here? So, because I usually use StreamYard. I'll enter with that mic. And then, um, yeah. Do you, oh, so you were able to see the, you're able to download the memory one, the memory game?
Yes, I was.
Okay,
That
good.
that was so cool. It looks so cool. Um, yeah, because I didn't kind of show you kind of what I was envisioning, but you totally did it right. It was awesome.
Oh, okay, great. Great. I wasn't sure. And I was like, this is what I was thinking that, okay, good. Yeah, I know there was a couple of things like I circled the I circled it. And so I was like,
Mhm.
I think that's what I was thinking because I wanted the kids to know that that's what we're looking at.
Can you
Yeah.
describe the on the one side it has the beads. So
Yes.
it's blank. Is that supposed to be colored, or what does that represent? Because you have the one side where you have um, the abacus part, and then you have the +1, and then you have the visual presentation of how you move the beads, and
Like this?
yeah, that looks awesome.
No, no. Are you talking about this page?
Yeah, yeah, that
Okay.
page.
Okay. So what I was thinking, because it's hard to print on both sides.
Hmm.
And so these are just separate tiles. And so let me see if I can. I'm usually obviously I'm usually more organized. But anyways, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm gonna try to live stream on Facebook and all the other places. Because this is what I can. Okay,
Okay.
sorry. So um, um I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous because this is something different. Okay, sorry. Um oh, thank you for your patience. I do appreciate it. Um, hmm. So I was thinking that the cards would be matching. Okay, let me focus again. What I'm trying to, I can only do one thing at a time. I'm sorry. I apologize. Okay. And it takes time to set up. It's ridiculous. I'm like trying to be everywhere. Okay. Um, I'm I'm just gonna try it. Okay. So let's see. here, go back to here. So I was thinking, nope. Oh, right. Nope. I was thinking this one. Okay, so this one, I had, when we were cutting, when I was cutting, right? So one card was a 3. So here is a minus the 3. So because I'm minusing the 3, let me change my view. There we go. Nope, that didn't work either. How do I? Okay. Anyways, so did that make sense? So the circle right here is the minus 3. So I have the 5. This is a question, right? Because the difference is with the 5, right? It can be a 5 or it can be a 10. That is why I had the question there. So if I look, right, if I just had the 3, oh, sorry. If I just had the 3 like this, then it could be anything. So that's why I added the 2-digit or the 1-digit, the column of the abacus. And then I was thinking that the kids would match this with this.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay.
Because I originally thought of just plus the 3, because I was looking at it as like, it's just memorizing, but you're showing how to use the abacus right there next to the 3. So
Oh, okay. So I can do another one, which will just be the formula itself. Mm.
actually no, because you have two parts to the formula. You have like plus the 3 is plus the 5 minus 2. So
Yes.
you're showing part of the formula, and then you're showing the other half of the formula. And so that's why I thought of this memorizing, matching game.
Yes, exactly. So what
Yeah.
I could do is I could have another version to just have this or just have the 3 and
Mm-hmm.
then just have the actual formula itself.
Yes, you
Yes,
can.
okay. Yes, okay. So I'll do that too, and I'll just add that into this package because yeah, yeah.
And then the other thing is, you can do matching, but what I realize is that you can do a flashcard because you can flip it. One side would be plus the 3, and then you flip it over, and then there's the other part of the equation. Plus the 3 is plus the 2 minus plus the 5 minus the 2. And it acts like a flashcard type of a thing too as well.
I was thinking about that, but the problem with that is the printing because I can't print it directly on both sides
No, but you can take
nicely.
you can take the paper and fold it over like you did with those that you have in your hand.
Oh, like this flipping formula one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know what I could do is just combine it all.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because yes. Okay. So I'll do that instead. So I'll combine it all and then the flipping formula. So then it'd be part of the memory game and then have okay, that sounds good. That sounds really good.
Cool. That's awesome. I hopefully, yeah, it just dawned on me because the other one you have kind of like a written, the flip chart is kind of like a written thing, but then this is more of like that's written numbers, but then your memory thing, or you can make it flashcards, shows a visual with the abacus. It shows how it's, minus the 10, the arrow is pointing down, and it shows you plus the 8. It just shows, visually too. And
Yeah.
that's why I thought, because sometimes people are a visual learner.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. People are visual learners and yeah, and I think that's why I wanted to try to keep the visual, but what I noticed that even though the pictures are there, it's still better obviously to have the abacus.
Oh,
Like
yes. Because then what you could do is take the abacus and then you could just actually practice it.
yeah, 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 exactly. Okay, so then the flipping formula with the making, yeah, okay, that sounds good. That sounds really good. That sounds like a really good. Yeah, and then I can yeah, or bundle it. What I could do is bundle it. Oh, I have to figure out that thing, how to bundle things.
So
So, um, how are things with you and your son? Is it did you push him forward to
okay, so one of the things that I thought of when you were talking about pushing him forward, I thought all of those plus and minus 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up
yes,
to 9, which is kind of like your simple problems, to
yes,
spiralize that, add it in as a review. Don't
yes,
skip it, but add it in as a review.
yes.
Because you kind of have it in order and
Mm-hmm.
all those sheets are redundant, but you can actually take those sheets and just kind of intermingle it in with the +5 as you're learning, because then you're going back and you're reviewing. So it acts as a spiral, a spiraling, but you're still trying to master um, the concepts of
Yes,
the +5 friends and the +10. And
yes,
so I was thinking of printing and then just kind of like, because you have your +5 book, but I thought I would just like kind of take it apart and just put the things in the online class in there. And then, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna go back and review this now. And then we go on to the next part of the +5s as well, because you have plus the 5 is you have the +4, you have the +2, the +3, the plus
yes.
one that you
Mm-hmm.
want to master, but then you kind of go back because you're after a while when you do a problem, part of the problem could be, especially when you're doing 2 digits, it could be you're doing a simple addition and then all of a sudden you have to go and use the +5 formula in it.
Yes, yes, yep,
And so I think it's good to kind of still work on those simple problem concepts and then combine it, because that's what adding is all about, or subtracting is all about, is eventually you're using both the mixed, so you're using both the formula and not. So does that make sense?
yes, yes. And it's good to be able to intermingle it because it's not just, but the way I had the online class was it was self-paced and it was more like you pick and choose because some kids, or depending on how it works, they might go they might understand that concept faster, so you could just move them forward and then always go back to review. So yes, that was the hope. I didn't want to get it too jumbled, or maybe I should structure it better to intermingle it for you already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So maybe I should do that instead and rework the outline because I was thinking like the book way, but class is obviously different.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot going on. Just trying to move everything forward.
One of the things that really fascinated me, because I was watching some of your lives and all of a sudden you were showing how, because you said that when you're learning how to do the abacus, that you always start on the left side of for the problem, especially if it's 2 digits,
Oh
and then
yeah.
go to the right. And then all of a sudden you just showed you can go either way, you can be flexible. And so I started doing problems like 35 plus 35, and I struggled with doing the 5 plus 5 all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. So I would love you to show that, to be able to do both sides. Because most of the kids that are learning in mainstream math, they always are taught to start on the right side.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting that you can't that my it's tough to be was it's tough to be flexible with math, but really it's all about understanding the numbers, and you should be able to go either way as long as you track it on the abacus, right? So the question was 35 plus 35.
Yes,
35
35
plus-
plus 35.
Okay, so we have this, right? So we're gonna add 35 on the abacus. So we'll go mainstream first, which is what? 5 first,
Mhm.
right? So what
Yep.
are we gonna do? Not enough. So we have 5 is equal to plus the 10 minus 5, right? So we're gonna plus the 10, 1, 0, plus the 10, take away the 5. Then number 2 would be this, right? How do you plus the 3? To plus the 3, it's plus the
Is
5,
5
yep, minus,
minus the 2.
yep. Because remember I use a thing with the money, and I think that has helped a few people too. So if I have 4 pennies and I want to add 3, I don't have any loose beads, right? I don't have any loose pennies, but I have this nickel. If I have the nickel, that's too much. I need to remove 2.
Mhm.
So then I add the 5 and I take away the 2. So my final answer is 70. So it still works the same way.
Mhm.
If we did, so we did 35 plus 35, right? We
Mhm.
do blue first, right? It's still 3 is
Plus
equal to,
2 plus the 5 minus the 2.
so plus the 5 minus the 2, minus the 2. And then 2 would be here, right? How do you do it? Is equal to plus the 10.
And minus the 5.
Yeah. So it's still plus the 10, oh, sorry, plus the 10 minus the 5.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it doesn't matter as long as you know the specific add-in that you're going into.
Mm. I did it a
Right.
couple of times on my own, and um, I started getting it.
Oh, good.
But then I started doing some problems like 55 plus 45 or
Oh, okay. 55. Let's take it slow. 55 plus 45. The difference here is what? Now we have a 2-step equation,
oh boy, yes.
right? So that's why it's very specific. So when we have 55, oh, I'm sorry, what was the other one?
No, the 55 plus 45. There was another one like 95 plus 5, because you're dealing with I wrote it let's see.
2-step.
Yeah, that's a 2-step too as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So when we're looking, right, and then you have your workflow that you did. Follow that workflow.
That's the part I need to make sure I get out and have a
Yes.
visual, because I have to remember I haven't done this like you have. You don't have to have those sheets.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I know in my lives I talk really fast, and I'm like, oh, let me know if I need to go slower. And it's not to be like I'm not trying to talk down to people. It's just like I just automatically just move the beads. So yesterday I was doing division, and people were like, I'm so lost. I'm like, oh, sorry. Sorry. Okay, so let's take it slow, right? We do 55.
55.
What,
Yeah.
okay, and then this is another thing that I was noticing. Which one do you want to start with first? The 4 or the 5?
Let's start with the 5.
Okay. So the 5, oh, yep, the 5 is blue, right? So we know we want to add the 5. The first question is always, can we do it? No. Right? And then we skip this because there is no 5 here. So then we go here. So our formula is plus the 10 minus the 5. So plus the 10 minus the 5. First thing we're going to do is what? Plus the 10 minus the 5. Plus the 10 minus the 5. No, I'm sorry. Minus the 5 plus the 10. Plus the 10 minus the 5. Plus the 10 minus the 5.
Plus the 10 minus the 5. Yes.
Right? Plus the 10 minus the 5. And then we're here. So we do 4. We have to ask, is there enough to add 4? No.
No.
is there a 5 we can add?
No.
So then we go here. Plus the 10 minus the 6. We're always going to do 2 columns no matter what. Plus the 10 minus the 6. Oh, this is not it. Plus the 10 minus the 6. That's 100, right? Okay, so let's do it again the other way.
So with that 50, because, okay, I got you have 60, then you add and then you add the 4. Oh, because I'm in the, okay, so then I have to go over and I have to plus the 10 minus the 6. I go over one more column. Okay, I got it.
Oh,
I got
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yes. So when you're looking, and that's what I was like, epiphany for me was when we say plus the 10, we're only talking about how do we make a 10? That's how you make a 10. 0, 1, 1, 0. That's all it is. The 0 is a placeholder. It makes you go to the next column. That's it. That's all it does. It's so funny. It's so amazing on how simple this concept is. And it still blows me away. It's to this day, it still blows me away because that's all we're doing is just we're adding the extra 10. 10 is the 1 and the 0. So it doesn't matter where you are. You could be 90 plus 10. Plus 10 is what? Plus 1 plus 0.
Yes, that makes sense.
Right? It doesn't matter where you are. It's always going to be a plus 10. So let's say we did 90 plus 4, right? 90 plus 40. But see, the difference is in Abacus, we don't need to write it. We just use the Abacus for our place value. In mainstream, we have to write it because we're using paper. But in Abacus, we just say 90 plus 40. 9 plus 4. Plus 4 is what? Plus the 10, right? Plus the 10, that's it. Plus the 10, take away the 6. So my final answer is 130.
Can you do that one again?
Yeah. So let me write it out because sometimes it's always nice to see it, right? 90 plus 40. It's simple, and yet it's simple. But what? It's versatile. Remember, this is 0, right? Because this is my ones place. Maybe I should do it like this. So when we add the 4, just like in mainstream math, we only do this, right? We only do 4 of the column. But in Abacus, we don't need to say 100. We just say 10 plus the 10 minus the 6. So it's plus the 10 minus the 6.
Minus the 6, yeah.
That's it. So then my answer, when I take it away, 130.
130.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we don't, in Abacus, we don't say 40 is equal to plus 100. We don't need to say that because then you're going to go over here. So if you did, if you did 90, then it would say 40 is over here, I think, plus 100 minus, I don't know, it gets confusing. I don't know how to, anyways. So we don't do it this way. We do it this way because we want to bring it down to just the basic, the fundamentals, the specific element. Does that make sense? Like the bare bones.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. So we're back to here. So when we do it right to left, there was no two-step equation. But now if I do it the other way, it is. Because if I add the 40, I'm going to add the 4. There's enough. But now when I do this, right, I add the 4. I just add the 4. Now I got to add the 5. When I add the 5, excuse me, now that's two-step because I have no more beads here. Remember, plus the 5 is what? Plus the 5 is equal to plus the 10.
10 minus the 5.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to, or what we should do actually is minus the 5 plus the 10. We have to be versatile, right? So we want to minus the 10 or minus the 5 plus the 10. Minus the 5 plus the 10. Well, I can't plus the 10. Remember, 10, 1,
Plus
0.
the 1 equals
Yes.
plus the 10 minus the 9.
Yes. Yes. Plus the 10 minus the 9. Funny, right?
So why is it easier? It sounds like it's harder when you go on the right side for this problem. Yeah, it's so different.
It is different. It's just, you just need to know where you're going. You just need to know your path. Because in mainstream elementary school, we're always focused on the result. But in Abacus, we focus on the path. We focus on where we're going and what we're trying to do. That's a different mindset.
So 55, when you're on the left side and you're adding the 4, then you go back over to the right side and now you have to add the 10.
You
So
add the 10.
add the 5. Add the
Add
5.
the 5. Yep. Yes. You add the 5 here. Just like we're adding the 5 here.
Okay.
But then because we need to add the 5, we're going to plus the 1. This is the carrying over. We carry over here.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, when we add, that's the funny thing. Abacus, we don't talk about carrying over, but that's what we're doing. We're carrying over or we borrow. This 10 is just carry over. Trading, regrouping, grouping. That's what this 10 is.
So you're trading the 9 for the 1, correct?
Yes. We're trading the 9 for the 10.
For the 10, that's what I meant.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. That's what it is. So just like here, we do this, right? We do 1.
Because 0, we carry the 1 or
Yep.
the 10. Yeah.
That 1 is here. So it's
Oh,
1 plus 5 plus not
plus
4.
4. Okay, so you're visually seeing how the 9 changes over to the, okay.
10. Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
You know, and every time I talk about it, it's just still fascinating. It still fascinates me. And I've been doing this for 20 years. But I think the difference for me is that I'm bridging mainstream math to Abacus. And I think that's what is really intriguing. Like, and that's where the biggest thing, that's why I started going down this path. Like, how do I introduce this to mainstream math? Because we do exactly the same. This is not an enrichment program. This is math. This is fundamental.
Wow.
So yeah.
So normally when you would start it, you would just basically add the 4 and then you would do the plus the 5 is minus the 10, but plus
Yes.
the 10 minus the 5.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I would do. But you can do it the other way. You can do it this way. You just got to track your numbers. Abacus is only tracking your numbers. It just depends on how you want to do it. If you feel comfortable going right way to the left, do it. If you feel comfortable going left to right, do it. I have been told to only go left to right. So 20 years, I go left to right. But if I'm trying to introduce this to mainstream math, maybe we start with right to left. You know what I mean?
So when did you decide to actually be flexible? When did you realize to actually be flexible? Because I like when I was watching your lives, all of a sudden there was a lot of views on it. And I don't know if it opened up eyes or something. So yeah, because it was pretty cool when you did that.
It started with trying to, it started with going, okay, it started with I'm trying to think. I've always been very flexible and I never really let the kids, I would teach the kids how to do certain things, but they would always find ways to improve. And so I never really put like a rule, like you got to do it this way. And that's how it started. And I think that's just who I am. I'm very open to finding new things. So my son actually didn't know the plus 10 formula. What he did was he knew, if you look, that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. If you add the 5, then you could add the 6. And I'm like, that's brilliant. So I let him go down that path. Did that make sense?
Can
It's
you
really,
demonstrate that?
I have to think about it. Like it's been like what, 15 years since I've seen it.
Okay.
And I don't think he remembered it, but I noticed that I was like, oh my gosh, we don't even need to worry about all of the extra stuff. But it was like, gosh, and maybe it was like adding of the 4. Okay, maybe it was like adding, okay, so if I had 7, so the question is 7 plus 4. So, if I have 7, I add the 4, I know adding of the 4 is plus the 5. 4 is equal to plus the 5 minus 2. So I'm going to plus the 5 minus the 2. So I minus the 2, I need to plus the 5. How do I plus the 5?
Is
He
plus
started,
the 4 plus the 5 minus the 1?
I'm sorry, yes, you're right, minus the 1. Thank you. So minus the 1. So I take away the 1, but now I plus the 5. But guess what? Plus 5 is this. So I can plus the 10 minus the 5. So I plus the 10 minus the 5.
Yes, 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 yes. So
He,
okay.
yeah, he created his own 2-step. And I'm like, that's brilliant. And I was like, what? But I didn't stop that. But it's so funny. It's so funny. Like he did that. I don't know if he remembers it, but I remember it. So
Oh
then
wow.
he never had to he didn't have to memorize this part. He just needed to memorize this and then this.
Oh.
Do you see that? He just had to memorize this and he had to memorize this. That's it.
Oh wow.
um
That's
but then yeah, just going down the rabbit hole, I was trying to because we make mistakes, and I know, I think it was you that mentioned that sometimes I would have the formula like this, sometimes I would have the formula minus the 9 plus the 10. And then I started realizing, when I was going down the rabbit hole of trying to make it more versatile for mainstream math, that's where this thing called commutative property came in. And I'm like, this excuse me. I was like, this is brilliant. This is exactly what we need. Huh, sorry. So in math, we actually do flipping, but this one is a little bit different because this is addition states, whereas in abacus, we have to have the minus states, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm.
So the path of going to different ways and to be flexible, it just started, like, to go left and right. That started because I was going live more often, and I had more people to talk to. And then I realized we actually don't need to understand. We don't need to go one way or the other. We just need to understand how it works on the abacus, because it's just visual.
Yes.
We're doing this in our heads, right? This is only tracking our numbers. So if you work better going left to right, then do it. If you work better working from right to left, then do it. It's not a different strategy. It's just what you're comfortable with.
I see.
Whereas in mainstream math, they give you different types of strategies, right? This is not a strategy. This is just making sure that you understand how to use it. There's those strategies, right, where they do, I don't know, those number bonds,
Yes.
like these number bonds. That's a strategy, right? This is not abacus. This is just a strategy. The reason why is because they're trying to show you on paper what the different columns are. But on the abacus, we can do it because we do 1 and 4, 14. We don't need to worry that this is a 10 and this is a 0, or a 10 and a 1s, right? We don't need to break it up like this because it's already broken up for us.
You can visually see it.
Yes. So when we add the 6, we add the 6. We would add the 10, I'm sorry, add the 8 plus the 10 minus the 2. But they have to break it up because look, right? They have to do the 6. The 6, they're writing it out. They're
I see.
writing it out. So that's the difference between mainstream math is trying to give you more pictures. Whereas abacus, you already see it. We go through the basics of understanding how to read it, and then you understand, oh, this is 10, right? And this is ones.
Well, you're showing how the beads move.
Yes, yes, but that's what abacus is. It's just showing how the
Yes.
beads move. But see, that's what we're writing. We're writing our numbers. So if we're writing our numbers, why can't we just use the beads?
Hmm.
It's just a different way. But
Makes
then,
sense.
but then what makes me really mad is then we have beads. Right? But it becomes unruly. So you have 14. I have 14. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? This is 14. No, that's 14. Then I have to have 68. Right? But you know what I noticed? These are still individuals. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is still individual stuff. It doesn't tell you place values. You combine them together, then you have to regroup, and then you have to like count them again. So we do a lot of counting in mainstream math. Here's the regrouping, right? Change this out to this. So our final answer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then 2. But it doesn't tell us place values. It tells us quantity. So I don't know what I mean, it's now we're just philosophizing, right? Do we want to see the individual items, or do we want to know what place values are? Because those are two different concepts. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So in mainstream math, they teach you how to trade in 9 beads for a 10. So how do you do that on the abacus?
No, you don't trade in 9, you trade in 10.
Sorry, 10, yeah, 10 ones.
Yeah,
for
10 ones for the
for the
we don't. We use the formula of the 10. How to make the 10. This is this adding of the 10 is what our trading is. So my question is here. So if I had 9, let me get you a. So if I had 8 on my abacus, if I had 8 on my abacus, I want to add 10. No, I want to add 9. Question is to add the 9, right? So 8 plus 9. Let's do 8 plus 9 plus the 9. Can't do it. So what we would do is we would give you a dime. I'd give you 10 cents. That's the trading in. But that's too much. So what do? We have to take away the 1.
Oh yeah, because plus the 9 is plus the 10 minus the 1.
Yes. So plus the 9 is equal to plus the 10 minus the 1.
Okay.
But yeah, but then when we go back, we don't need to do the adding of the 1 up top.
Yeah, like you normally do, because you have 5, you go 5 plus 5 is 0, and then you carry the 1 on top. But in the abacus, you're carrying the 1 is your plus the 10.
Exactly, exactly. Because if you notice, with the carry the 1 is actually this.
Yes.
But we assume that there's a 0. And then we have a whole what? We have a whole unit on hero the 0 the hero. Like, that's a whole unit. Oh, okay. Like in kindergarten, I remember my kids were going through a whole specific unit on what 0 is. And it's because in mainstream math, we don't make it explicit. We don't say, hey, guess what? Instead of carrying the 1, we're going to make it a 10.
Mhm.
which is interesting. But then then it goes to the other extreme where they start talking about all these dots. So they do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and they have all these dots in these like bars. So that's another extreme that they're going through. Just to get the kids to understand the actual quantity. But funny, the human eye doesn't see more than 5 items at any given time.
Oh, okay.
Because it's too much. It's too much for us to understand. Like this, I don't even know how much. I would have to break it up. I was like, oh, okay. This is, I
You know
start
those are all
grouping it.
tens. You know those are all tens
Yeah, but
already.
if I do this, how many tens do I have? I have to count it. 1,
But yeah,
2,
you'd have to
3,
separate it.
4, 5. Yeah. So when we separate, we got to group it. We group it into something that's easier to see. So this is 4, right? Then this, we have all of this. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I know I made a 5 here because I was trying to, right? But then we have to group it again. So we go by threes. Let's do, or we could do twos, 2, 4. We still group it. So we don't see more than 5 things. That's why abacus is interesting. Because when I look at it, I know that this is 9. It's 5 things, but it's 9 because I know the concept that this is 5. Funny, right?
Would we be able to do a couple of we kind of did it with the 95 plus 5, but two digit problems where you're showing the two-step equation and you can use either side or go to a three-step problem or a three digit problem.
Do you want 3 digit or do you want 3 digit or do you want 3 steps?
Let's do the one with 3 steps.
Okay. Let me see. Let me clean it. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, yeah, I don't know. I just really enjoy breaking down this information. I don't know if anybody else does it, but I find it fascinating. It was so funny. I had a conversation with a math professor from the UK, and people in the UK are very intelligent because of their accent. But it was funny. He watched my live and he was like, "You sold me on the abacus." I'm like, "Thank you." I appreciate that. And I know I do a lot of it's very interesting to see those people that are open, and some people actually are converts.
Mhm.
Okay, so let me see if I can do. Let's see if this is okay. One of them is, so the easiest question I can bring up would be the 9, right? 9, 9, 9, 9 plus what, 3? Would that be something that you would, or is that something that you're thinking of, or do you want something like bigger?
No, this is perfect. It's at
Okay,
my level.
okay, because because the thing is we need to understand that we're adding it to this column, right? So we do 999. We're going to add the 3. There's not enough. I'm going to write it out, right? What is the formula for plus the 3?
That is plus the 10 minus the 7.
Right? And now, because we're doing it this way, maybe we say plus this minus the 7 plus the 10. So we don't forget.
So you take the 7 away first.
Yep, you take the 7 away. And then we plus the 10, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. So that's why we do this, right? We break it up. 1 is equal to what?
Plus the 10 minus the 9.
Right. Or to make sure we don't forget, minus the 9 plus the 10. Minus the 9
Oh,
plus the 10.
but then you can't do it in that third column. So you have to redo
Yep,
minus the 9 plus the 10 again.
yep, yep. You do it again until you can't do it anymore. This is
Okay.
the loop. So now we're talking about programming and they do loops, right? So in a loop, you keep going until you can't do it anymore. The loop in programming. So this is kind of like programming. There's a lot of fundamentals that happen, but it's part of the system. It's part of the methodology.
Can we do another one like that? Just one more.
Of course. No, and that's and that was the thing, like curating these questions that are very specific. I don't just that's why it takes me time to like figure it out, like how to do certain things, like how to get the questions, because the questions are very specific. So we could do 948 plus 506. Let's see if I don't think I have enough paper for that. Let me do that again. 5, 6. Okay. Right. So we can start with, which one are we going to do? Which one?
948. Okay, I get it. 40 and then 8. Oh my goodness.
Which one do you want to start with first? And then we'll do it the other way.
Okay, let's start with the 5.
Okay. So we start with the 5.
Mhm.
I like my markers. I like the markers. So we add the 5, we're done. Okay. Now what are we going to do? We're going to do the 6.
Yep, then you go back to the 6.
It's not going back, it's just going forward. We're going from left to right.
Right, yes.
Right.
So now we're doing the 6. So the 6 is plus the 10 minus the 4.
So now this is we have to choose one first, either this, or either the 10 or the 4.
Well, you can't do the 4, so I would do the 10. I would subtract the 10.
We could do that. But then we have to remember. So this is why it's critical to understand where the steps are. Right?
Yes. So minus the 4 is minus the 5 plus the 1.
Yeah. See, and then that's a quicker one. And then we can go into this part, right? Minus the 5 plus the 1. Now we can go here. We know to plus the 10 is what? Plus 1 is equal to minus the 9 plus the 10. Minus the 9 and then plus the 10. Plus the 10. I need to do it again. Minus the 9 plus the 10. Now I'm done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Right? It's one number at a time. Don't do too much. One number at a time. Okay, let's do the other one.
Okay.
948 plus 5, 6, right? So we still have that 2-step, right? 9, 4, 8. I know it's a 2-step because 8, the 6. 6 is what? Minus the plus the 10 minus the
4.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to minus the 4. We know we have to minus the 4 is equal to minus the 5 plus
minus
the 1.
The 5.
Right? Minus the 5 plus the 1. And then we need to plus the 10. 1. I need to add the 1. To add the 1, what? To add the 1.
Add the 1 is plus the 5 minus 4.
Exactly. Is equal to plus the 5 minus 4. Plus the 5 minus the 4. Yep. And then what? Then we need to add, now we're here.
Oh, we have to add, okay, so then you basically, it's plus the 5 is plus the 10 minus 5.
Minus the 5 plus the 10. So then what are we doing? We need to do it again. Minus plus the 1 is equal to minus the 9 plus the 10. Minus the 9 plus the 10.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But it doesn't matter which way you go. You just got to track your numbers. That's what you just need to track your numbers. It doesn't matter if you go one way or the other. It will always be at one point, at one time, it will always be complicated more than it is.
At one time. I like that.
At any given time, one path or the other, it doesn't matter. It will be always be a little bit more complicated. That's why you need to be solid in your foundational stuff. See, you were saying minus the 4, and you notice if I minus the 4, all I got to do is minus the 5 plus the 1. And it sounded like it was very easy for you, right? It was like, oh, I just have to minus, and it will be like that very soon. Like it will be automatic because oh, I need to minus the 5 first or to add the 5.
I think my biggest hiccup is keeping track of where I'm at. That's where I'm struggling. And so how would you, like, for example, in your lives, you will like put the abacus underneath the problems, but then you're writing out your formulas on the side. So how do you know once you're done with that formula and you're moving on to the next column? That's my biggest hiccup, is trying to keep track, because you're in the thick of it, and I don't have it, as solid as you do. And you seem to know where to go back, or especially when you're teaching, it's amazing. So,
Thank you, I appreciate that. What I would do, so if I had this one, like I was showing you, for a user, for a student, you can write it out. I write it out for you guys, but maybe I use the writing it out as a tracking system. So, and that's why I do underlines and stuff. So when we're doing the 5, and that's why maybe I use the different colors, so I know how to go. Right?
would you write the formulas kind of down on the side as you go, just kind of like in order? Because I noticed at the very top, we went in order, and that made sense. And I saw the pattern of the repeated plus the 1 equals minus 9 plus the 10, and then we're doing the same thing again.
Yeah.
With that. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just a matter of me making sure that I write them in order. And then for me, I don't know if I have to necessarily cross it out, because you're doing two different things. You're using the abacus, you're going through the problem, you've written down your formulas. Probably when you do it, you probably don't even really write those formulas. You just kind of go through it. I don't know what you do, but I guess as you're learning this and you're becoming familiar, we have to write the formulas out. Do you always write the formulas out when you're doing a problem?
I say it out loud because I'm
Ooh.
audible. So
Okay.
so when I'm going through it, that's what I would do. I don't sometimes I would write it out, but I don't necessarily do. And when I do 4, I do 948. I'm going to add the 5. Okay, I want to add the 5. Here I am adding the 5. I just add the 5. I want to add the 6. Okay, add the 6 is minus the 4 plus the 10, minus the 4. I know minus the 4 is minus the 5 plus the 1, and I need to add the 10. I know add the 10 is minus the 9 plus the 10, minus the 9 plus the 10. That's what I would do. I would say it out loud.
Visually saying, oh, so hearing yourself say it.
Yes.
Okay.
And tracking it with my finger, that's what I do.
Okay. But as a beginner, oh, I like that. I'm not there yet.
Well, the funny thing is my kids don't even need to say it. And I'm like, you guys are so good. But
They don't need to say it?
They don't need to say it because they already see it, and it's already it's ingrained. Whereas I learned it when I'm older, and so it takes me a little bit to like translate it. And your child will be faster than you doing math on the abacus than we will, because now it becomes part of their, it just becomes part of them.
They're starting so much younger too.
Yes, yes. It gets to the point where they cannot explain it, they just do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So like if I give my sons an abacus, they'll be like, da, 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 I'm done. I'm like, okay, how'd you do it? He's like, I don't know. I just did it. I'm like, so, but I mean, that's the point, right? The point is to get them to where it becomes automatic. And this will become automatic. Like this started to be automatic for you. You didn't have to write it out. You already knew to take away the 5.
Yeah. So maybe those cards will be the memory, because
Yes.
because
Yes.
you're not necessarily working out a problem, but you're just matching. It's just like when they play games where you're matching your partners to 10. It's
Yes.
pretty much like that. But what you're doing is you're doing your formulas to your plus 10 formulas or your plus 5 formulas. I do have a question
Yes.
on the memory thing that you made.
Yes.
Is the -5, is that going to be harder to do as a memory? Because let's see, if you bring the
What?
paper down, this one was the -10s, right?
Yes. This is a -10s.
Okay, so the -5 formulas, would that be hard to
Oh, this one?
scroll down for a second? Let's see.
-5?
Go up. Is that the +5s?
This
Yeah,
is
maybe.
both.
Oh, it is both. Yes, yes. One column is the -5s, and I see that. I see that. Okay.
No. I one column is not. It's add the 4 minus the 4. Add the 5, add the 2 minus the 2. And then this is
Yes,
the
you
same.
do have it there. Okay. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. It's a making a 5, whether
Yep.
it's a +5 or a -5.
Yep.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I didn't make it in order because I was just trying to get it out the door because I wanted to get it to you before and see what you were thinking, if that was it.
Mhm. Yeah. So I'm gonna make it and just laminate it,
Yeah.
and then play games. Play
Are
it.
you do you cut first and then laminate it, or do you laminate?
I would cut them out individually and then laminate, because when you're cutting, it might
Open, right?
undo
Yeah.
itself.
Okay. Then what I was thinking, because of laminating, maybe I make it business card size. Then you just buy the business card, pockets. Then you don't need a cut second time.
No, and then probably just putting it on cardstock. I mean, you don't really have to laminate it. You're just it's just to make make it last longer. But I'm
Yeah.
sure if you just put it on a cardstock, it'll be totally fine.
Right, but I was thinking like to laminate it, if I was to, if to make it more durable, and to be easier to laminate, make it into a business card size. So all you have to do is buy the business card laminated pockets, envelopes.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, hold on. Like let me see if I can find. Yeah, they're smaller size. They're a smaller size abacus. Let me see if I can find it. No, not abacus. They're small size, like this, like this. This is a laminated pocket, but this is for cards, like business cards. And so all you got to do is just cut it once, and then you feed it through, and then you laminate it, and you don't need to cut it again.
Ooh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? So that's what I was thinking. Maybe I'll make it a business card size. So you just cut once and then you laminate it through through this. And then you don't have to cut then you don't have to cut the laminate.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
But then it's gonna be, well, I'd have more room to play, or I have it like this, right? I don't know. Yeah. So then just make it like a little bit smaller than a business card. So it'd be like individual.
I
And then
like
you
it.
cut it.
I like
Yeah.
it.
That's what I was thinking. Like, and then it'd be um easier, easier to make, because then you don't have to worry about wrong sizes if you cut it wrong. Right? Because you want everything to be symmetrical, or you want it to be like same size and stuff.
I like it.
Mm.
So are you're gonna add this to your like your Abacus store, or is that something you would do to, for your Abacus store or or Amazon? Is that something you would do with
I would
this?
Yes, I would add it to my store. I'd add it to my TikTok store, but Amazon doesn't do it because I haven't figured out how to do drop shipping with Amazon. Um, but yeah, but then and that would probably be what I would do, is I'd make it into a laminated in pockets, and so then it'd be easier to create, and then I can probably sell that. Or they just have a downloadable, and then they could do it themselves.
Wow, I like it. That makes
Thanks. Yeah, thank you. No, yeah, it's a really good idea. It was just one of those things, like, yeah, how to make more, and at a just how to make more, because that's what I did with this one. um i was I was just teaching, and then I realized what I could do is I can make it up into, this was actually going to be a part of the introduction to abacus for adults, and this was actually going to be part of it. And then I was like, I just need this part so I can teach. And then it just started morphing into something, to a product. And so people actually bought this specifically. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And then I have the commutative property, the making of the 5, making of the 10. And then in the back, I have the framework, the workflow, the addition, and then the subtraction. And then the way this is broken up is, if you do adding of if you add the 1, behind it is minus the 1. And so that's how it's grouped. And so you have the utilize, making of the 10, and then this section is making of the 5. If I want to add the 2, I'm going to subtract the 2. So I just need to find my 2, and then I know I'm going to subtract. So
I was gonna order that, next, or should I just wait until you have your book then? Your adult book?
it's up to you if you want to wait for the adult book. Do you want to see it?
Yes, I'd love to.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Yeah, so there's a few. I've been working on a few more books, and I still gotta do let's see, this one. Okay. So here is this. So I added the thing. I'm sorry. So digression. I added the nope, that's not what you're seeing. Oh yeah, you are seeing that. Okay, yeah. So I added the abacus to the memory. So that's what that is. Okay, so let's go back. So I'm still fussing around with like how I want to format it. But I have the beginning where I explain, the numbers, and then I have like how to break up the number, because it's been a while since we all like really thought about numbers. And so this was like how the abacus will look to the number. And then we have the puzzle, which is like 1. And then again, and then I have the 3-digit, and then again, I go into 5-digit. 5-digit has a decimal. So I add in the decimal. And then this is where I'm still kind of contemplating how I want to do this. This is all of the adding of the 1. And it goes the same thing like the preschool, not preschool, it's just like the abacus class that we have. So I was thinking about doing adding the 1, but have multiple columns, but I'm not sure I'm going to have this many. I think I'm just going to combine them all, And then the only thing is when I do the actual formula, that's when I'll break it up into individual numbers. So like we add the 4, there's a spinning activity, and then there's the adding of the 3, spinning activity, adding of the 2, spinning activity, and so forth. So I think that's what I'm going to do. But it's still a work in progress. And then we have it again for the 10, making of the 10 and subtracting of the 10. And we're going to do the same thing. So this one and that would be it. There would be no 2-step equation. It would just be adding of the 5, adding of the 10, adding 5, take away 5, add the 10, and minus the 10. And that would give me all the way up to 100 pages at least. More than enough. And that's including answer sheets too.
So in the spinning part, the numbers are a lot bigger versus the numbers in for the +5, +10 for the kids. The numbers are a lot bigger right there. The spinning.
Yes, I try to make it bigger, and yes. The idea was to have bigger numbers, larger numbers, so you could see the versatility. Because I don't have to tell you what the hundreds place is. It will just be a part of it. You just know where it is, right?
Yes.
So that's why in the beginning I added the different columns, and I think that's enough to understand that every column is a place value. And this is just a practice. So yes, the spinning one only goes maybe to 100. No, not even 100. I think I go only to 99. And then I think in the second book, when we start doing the 2-step equations, that's when we start going into 3-digit and maybe 4-digit number adding and subtracting. But that's the plan. And then after that would be multiplication and then division for adults.
I do have a question on the division. When you're doing the division on the abacus, you're working out your problem.
Yep.
And then you have your area where you're subtracting.
Yep.
When you're doing on the abacus, I watched this one abacus guy program on YouTube, and they have their working space farther away than
where I have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, when you're doing the 4 divided by 112, they'll have their working space, or sorry, way over on the far right. And then yeah, yours is a little bit closer because you count your digits and then you subtract. So like 112 divided by 4, you say there's 3 and you minus the 1, so you have 2. So on the top, anyway, how I'm explaining, but yeah.
Yes. The reason why I do that is I use the dividends to help me figure out the place value of my answer.
Okay.
So we can work this one out. Let me see if I can find my. You have time? I know it's late.
I have probably about 5 more minutes or so.
Okay, so let's see if we can do this. So, okay, so we have 2. We're going to be 2. The reason why is 1, 1, 2. Now, if you notice, my answer is going to be maybe a 2-digit quotient. That's why. The person that did it on this side, I don't know how they track how big the quotient is. Did they tell you?
I was just watching and observing,
Okay.
so I don't remember. I'd have to go back.
Okay, yeah. When you go back and you take a look, figure out how do they know? See, that's my thing, is how do they know where the answer is? Because it can be I don't know what the answer is, but it could be like 2,800. How do I know it's only 28? That's the question. Here, because I use my abacus to help me track it, I know it's going to be 28. So I use the quotient and my place value.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
I think so.
So when I take it away, I'm going to take the 2, 8, 4 times 2 is 8, and I take away my 8, right? And then I have 32. 4 times 8 is 32. So I add my 8, right? That's my quotient. Let me see if I can write it out. Am I going too fast? I'm going too fast.
No, I like how, I was just starting to see how you were doing I was visually seeing how you were subtracting and stuff like that. It's maybe it's good to do both, where you're going through it on the abacus, and then on the side, you're doing the problem again, and you're seeing how you write it out and how you're subtracting. So,
Okay.
so
Okay.
that's cool.
Okay. So I know 4 is 2 times 4 is 8. 8, take away 11, right? Because you can't take away, anyways. So I'm going to take away 11, so it's 8. Take away the 10 plus the 8, right? So I got my 2 here. 2 in my tens place. And then I know 32, I know I'm going to be here. So 4 times what is equal to 32? 4 times 8 is equal to 30, take away 2. So I have my 8 here. When you go back, you kind of question how do they know that it's 28 and not 28,000,
Oh wow.
right? Because every column is a place value. How do they know that it's actually 28? When I look at the others, I didn't do it their way because I don't know for a fact where I am in the grand scheme of how to get the answer.
So this helps you keep track in your, is that basically why?
That's why, exactly. So it keeps track of where how the place value of my quotient.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometimes your quotient will have a 0. So it'll be like 208. So how do you know that there's a 0 in there? So the way I have it, the way I set it up, I know where I know where the 0 lies. And
Oh.
that's when questions become more complicated. But obviously we don't show that in the videos because it would confuse people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's why a lot of the stuff that I do is very, basic. And so, either, yeah.
Yeah, when you were doing it, I thought by me following you visually on there, I'm like, nope, I got lost. So I could see why you write it out for
Yeah.
us to, because I'm like, huh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I got lost. I thought I could do it, but no, I couldn't. And this is a simple problem because when you're doing mainstream, you know that only two, with the 4, you only know that 2 4s go in there, and then you have the 8, and you subtract, and you
Yeah.
get 32. I mean, we're so used to doing that without the abacus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you're
Yeah.
doing it, you're doing 2 things. You're looking at the problem and you're doing it on the abacus, and it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot of back and forth.
Yes.
It's a lot of back and forth. And then new math, they're starting to do partial quotient. And that's a new thing that they're doing.
I don't
I don't.
understand.
They're like, how many times does 4 go into any number you want? So just choose 4 times 25. So now the problem I see is now we're trying to get the kids to know what 4 times 25 is, and that's not part of the multiplication table.
Oh, that's going past it.
It is going past it. It's like, why are you teaching them another strategy when you just bring it down to
with a
yes,
okay.
exactly. So now the kids have to start knowing their multiplication facts higher. And I'm like, why? Why? There's no so that's what they did. And they were like, just choose any one you think your number is. I was like, okay, whatever. So obviously this works out because 4 is easy because we know 4 and 25 and it's 100. We know this as adults, but as kids, how are they going to know this? I find it more cumbersome, but like this is fine, right? Because we know 4 times 3 is 12. We know that, but
Mm.
yeah. And then you add it together and just, so that's what new math is. I'm like, this is not, yeah. But like when we get into 2-digit, it gets a little bit, you really need to be solid in your process in order to understand how to do 2-digit division.
And you can do 2-digit division on the abacus as well?
Yeah, you can go up to whatever digit you want. Any sort of arithmetic, you can do it on the abacus.
Okay, baby steps. I have never done a 2-step or 2-digit division problem on the abacus. This is as good as I'm gonna get right now until I've mastered the.
And the funny thing is I was looking at 2-digit division in mainstream math, and they take the divisor as a whole. And I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So if this was like 74, it'd be 74 divided by how many times does it go into 112? So you're really doing reverse multiplication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But in abacus, it is reverse multiplication, but we break it up into individual numbers. We do the 7 and then we do the 4, and that's another process.
In abacus?
Yeah, we break it up. It's really quite cool.
Oh my God.
So like this,
Oh,
like
like
12.
this.
Yeah, this is what we do. We break it up. No, we break it up 1 and the 2. That's what we do. We do 1 first and then we do the 2. And then we break it up. But this is mainstream. I was trying to figure out how they did it. So that's what they do. They take 2 digits, but instead abacus takes it 1 digit at a time. 1 first and then 2. How many times does 1 go into 1? 1 time. So you put the 1 up. And then there's a whole process.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I have to admit the mainstream seems a little bit easier right there because you're taking 12, the only 112 can go into 18.
But that's because you're grouping it, right? What happens when this is a bigger number like 72?
Oh,
Right?
72 and 2?
Yeah,
Oh.
so like that's why abacus is more versatile, because when we break it up into smaller chunks, then it doesn't matter how big this number gets.
Oh, wow. Have you shown a 2-digit division on your lives?
I have, but
Oh,
it gets a little cumbersome because everybody's still very new, right? They've only been working with abacus for maybe an hour or an hour and a half. Those people,
that's a little too much.
yeah, but no, but there's those people that stay with me for like a few months and they are already ready to do division. So that's my issue now, is that I have people that sit with me. Like I go live pretty often, like at least once a day, and they'll sit with me for a few hours and they'll go through, they know how to do all the adding and subtracting and the multiplication, and then they're ready to do division. So that's why I got to bring out the division questions for my book so they can do the division on their own. But here, this is the example, right? What we do is we compare 5 and 3. Can we do it? Right? Yeah. Which one's bigger? And then we break it down. So this is what I'm doing for the 2-step. Sorry, not 2-step. 2-digit division.
Division. Okay.
Because how many times can 53 go into, I don't know, 352? I'm like, oh, I got to count it, right?
I would say, okay. You're right. Yeah, you would. 53. Okay.
Yeah. So mainstream math, they take it as a whole, but in abacus, you take it into the individual. And I break it down, like we do a comparison first, and then we say, okay, who is bigger, the 3 or the 5? Well, the 5 is bigger, so we know that's going to be two digits. What times 5 is equal to 31, right? 31 or less. 5 times 6 is equal to 30. So now we're doing multiplication fact. So you add the 6 here, right? You take away the 30, you get 12. And then whatever you do to the first divisor, you do it to the second one. So 6 times 3 is 18. That's too much. So I have to bring it down a notch. So. Because what we do is we guesstimate, just like why we count our digits on the abacus. We say we're going to be somewhere around here, plus the 10 minus the 10, somewhere, if that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's comparison. And what I say, it's like what we do is we actually have a conversation with our numbers because we want to see what they're doing, right? And then we kind of test it out. It's like life, right? You do one thing and then you pivot, then you go another way, you pivot again. It's the same thing, right? Or we could call it a loop. Can't do it again. Can't do it a different way.
The loop I understood after a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Because
I
you
think this one is
visually see the pattern as well.
yeah. Right. And then you just keep doing it again. But then this one I think is more pivoting. So in life, we pivot. I didn't think I was going to be abacus teacher for full time, but I am now. You know what I mean? So we pivot. So I think I'm going to use the word pivoting here. We know that three times 5 is not enough. Or sorry, 6 times 3 can't take away 12.
It's too much.
It's too much. We got to do it again, right? So yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. Oh, I think I got to do it again. 5 times 3 is 15, but that's too much. So I think I need to do 4 times 3 is 12, and then that will take it away. Oh, no. Okay, do you have time? Are you gonna do it?
Can you do it on one of your lives and then I'll be able to watch it then? That way
Yeah.
I can just watch.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Yeah, I think that will help me.
Okay.
This has been great. This has been awesome.
How did you find me, if I can ask?
I was just kind of just scrolling, and then I think I watched you once or twice, and I liked how you were explaining things.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the very beginning, I was like, I didn't know what I was doing because I rarely talk to adults. But then as I go more live and then talk to you and talk to others, it's been very interesting and opens my eyes to be like, oh, I needed to be a little bit more math terminology because people understand that more than just because abacus has their own set of vocabulary, and trying to make it more mainstream has been an interesting journey for me.
What I've just I don't want to call it metamorphed, but what I've just noticing, like I said, the last 3 lives I saw, you had a pattern. It's kind of like you metamorphed into, I don't know, you just the way each time you just kind of, like, I guess, um streamlined your teaching on the live.
Yes, it's been very helpful to continue to perform and to demonstrate because I did it one way through the abacus because that's how I was taught, and nobody else has gone through this path that I'm doing right now. Like if you look at all the other people that's doing abacus, they're still very much like, this is abacus, this is what we're doing. But trying to bridge the gap to mainstream is what I want to do, because I really do believe it's the greatest thing next to sliced bread, and it should be in schools. It should be in mainstream. That's what I believe.
So so I also noticed the number of views went up too.
Yeah, that was crazy, right? Like I didn't think anybody would be interested. And yeah, because I have an actual learning center out in Monterey Park in California, and people kind of come and go, but not too many people not too many people search out abacus, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much. This has been great.
Yeah, thank you for coming by. I appreciate that. And
Yeah.
I hope your son is going through the class and stuff, and let me know. Yeah, so I'll update that, and then I'll put it with the flipping formula. Yeah, I think so. That would be good.
Yeah. I noticed that on your online class, you'll have like these little games. I don't
Yes.
know. Is there a way of implementing a game where they match, kind of like you have this written form where they play the game and they just match the formula? Like when you're starting out with just the plus fives, they can put this as part of the, plus the five, and then you have it, you have to turn a card over. I don't know how to do that, how you do that on a game on the abacus. But
Um, I tried to do this, uh, making of the five, and it was, here, and it was a presenter's view. I'm just gonna present full screen. Okay, so let me see if I can find you. So I had it where I had something like this, where you would click and you would fill it in, and I have something like this, and then I can make it into figure out which abacus fits into here. I can make it the same, very similar to this. So if I did that, then you have to try again. Something
oh,
like
you have that on there on the
yeah,
online?
kind of. I don't know. I have to go back and check. But I have something like this, but then I can actually make it, what you're saying is have the formula itself. This was like the beginning part of understanding like how to make a game and to gamify it.
Oh, okay. That's
Is that
cool.
is this something that you'd be looking forward to?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, so you don't have it on the online class yet. You would be putting this on there?
I think it's there, but I
Yeah.
haven't structured it like that's the thing. Like I gotta go back and see what I've done. Because there's so much, it's hard to keep track of everything.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So let me know if you see, I'll go back to myself and I'll see if I have it there. If not, I will add it. But I have something like this to make the five, and then I'll do another one where we have the formula. And then we have to click on it to, match it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a good one.
So they click it on and then it just tells you whether you have the right answer or whatever. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. That's all we can do is we can just click. It doesn't
Okay.
move, if that's okay.
Okay. No,
Okay.
that's fine. That's
Okay,
awesome.
great. Okay, great. Then I'll do the other one with the actual formula.
Mhm.
Okay, cool.
This has been awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Alyssa. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
yeah. Thank you. And I hope this will work with because this is live still, so
Yeah. Yeah. I
I gotta remember that. So
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do it this way. I think we're just gonna go back. I don't know. I gotta figure it out.
no,
But
that's fine. If you went back to the regular live YouTube, that's totally fine. That is just awesome that you did this. So
well, it's kind of nice to actually have a conversation as opposed to me reading, you know?
yes.
But I appreciate you coming on and, you know, talking with me. I do appreciate that. That's like one of the things, like, I do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good day. I'll see you later.
Yep, you too.